You know that feeling when you hit a certain point in your life? Maybe you got the big promotion, maybe the kids are grown, and you just kind of stop and think, okay, so what's next? It's like you've spent all this time climbing a mountain, you get to the top, and you're not quite sure where to look. Well, that exact feeling is what we're diving into, because it's the launch pad for one of the most incredible transformations in life.
And look, this happens to so many of us. The goals that drove you for decades, climbing the career ladder, getting financially secure, chasing that title, you've done it. You've checked the boxes. But that fire, that sense of purpose, can suddenly feel a little directionless. You've made it to the summit, but what's the plan for after the climb?
This quote just nails it, doesn't it? It perfectly frames this whole conversation. This isn't about decline, not at all. It's about a total shift in direction. The whole focus moves from what you can get from the world to what you can give back. It's a pivot from personal ambition to something way deeper, something that lasts. So to really get our heads around this shift, the writer David Brooks has this fantastic metaphor, the second mountain. That first mountain, the one we all spend years, maybe decades climbing, that's the mountain of self. It's all about ego, status, and personal achievement. But after that climb, a whole new peak comes into view.
And this second mountain, it's a completely different kind of journey. The rules are different. It's not about what the world can do for you anymore. It's about what you can do for the world. The climb is all about your commitments to others, to your community, to a cause you believe in, to your family. It's not just a new chapter. It's like you're starting a whole new book.
And that brings us to our huge idea here. This pivot from a life that's measured by success to a life that's defined by significance. The old scoreboard we used for so long, the money, the promotions, it just doesn't really work anymore, does it? I mean, the change is pretty dramatic when you lay it all out like this. In that first half, the goal is often acquisition, getting more stuff, more power. Your social life is about networking, quantity over quality. And your identity? It's totally wrapped up in your job title. I am what I do. But in the second half, that focus flips to contribution, to finding meaning. Friendships become about real intimacy, and that mindset shifts to I am who I serve. Your energy goes from being scattered everywhere to being focused, to being an essentialist.
You know, there's actually a powerful psychological term for this feeling. It's called generativity. It's this deep, innate human drive we have to create and nurture things that will be around long after we're gone. It's about investing in the future, guiding the next generation. It's the absolute opposite of stagnation. It's really the engine that powers you up that second mountain.
So what does this actually look like in real life? Well, it could be mentoring a younger person at work, sharing not just your wins, but your scar tissue, the lessons you learned the hard way. It could be taking all those professional skills you've honed and applying them to a nonprofit. Or it could be as simple as getting involved in a local community project. It's all about channeling your life's experience into something that's going to grow beyond you.
Now, of course, to climb this incredible second mountain, you need your health. But here, too, the focus shifts. It's not just about adding more years to your life. It's about adding more life to your years. And that brings us to our second key idea, prioritizing your health span over your lifespan. Think of it this way. Your lifespan is just the total number of years you're alive. Your health span, on the other hand, is the number of those years you're living with energy and vitality, free from chronic disease. The goal isn't just to stick around. It's to be an active, vibrant participant in your own life. So how do we build that health span? Well, you can really focus on 3 key pillars. First, physical resilience. That means strength training to fight off that age-related muscle loss, also known as sarcopenia. Second, cognitive novelty. You got to challenge your brain with new stuff. And third, metabolic health, which, believe it or not, is often more about what you don't eat than what you do.
And if you need a little motivation for that first pillar, get this. You can lose up to 30% of your muscle mass between 50 and 70 if you're not actively working to keep it. And this is not about vanity, not at all. This is about your independence, your strength, and your sheer physical ability to go out and do all the cool things you want to do on that second mountain.
This leads us perfectly into our third theme. After decades of building up all this expertise, what you might call an expert soul, one of the greatest joys of this second half of life is embracing a beginner's mind again. It's about learning just for the pure fun of it, with zero pressure to perform or get some kind of credential.
I absolutely love this quote because just think about it. For years, so much of your value was tied to being an expert, to being good at what you do. But now there's this incredible freedom in picking up a guitar or a paintbrush or trying to learn a new language and just being kind of bad at it for a while. The goal isn't mastery. The goal is curiosity and play. And this isn't just for fun. It connects right back to that idea of health span. Just like your muscles, your brain thrives on variety and challenge. If you've spent your whole career working with numbers and spreadsheets, try learning pottery. If you're an artist, maybe dive into studying astronomy. This cognitive cross-training is what keeps your mind sharp, flexible, and ready for anything.
And the possibilities here are literally endless. You could learn an instrument, try woodworking, start a garden, write that book you've always thought about. The key is to just follow whatever genuinely sparks your curiosity, not what you think you should be doing. It's about reconnecting with a part of yourself that might have been on the back burner for a few decades.
All right, so we've talked about shifting our purpose, our health, and our approach to learning. This last idea kind of pulls it all together. The second half of life is less about adding more and more to your plate and a lot more about carefully editing what's already there.
It's this really fundamental shift in your mindset. You move from a life of accumulating more to a philosophy of less, but better. It's no longer about more friends, more stuff, more commitments. It's about deeper connections. And you shift away from pleasing others and move toward being true to yourself. It's about living a life that is authentically your own.
So, how do you actually do that editing? How do you decide what stays and what goes? Well, think of this as your new compass. Anytime you're faced with a choice about how to spend your precious time or energy, just run it through these 4 simple questions. Does this bring meaning to my life? Does it strengthen my connections with people I care about? Does it increase my inner peace? And finally, does it serve something or someone beyond myself? This is a super practical tool for making sure your actions line up with your new values. You know, the great psychologist Carl Jung said it so well. This isn't just an epilogue to your life. It's a whole, vital part of the story with its own unique purpose and its own significance. The point isn't to try and relive the morning. It's about fully, completely embracing the richness of the afternoon. So, at the end of the day, the second half of your life isn't a script that's just handed to you. It's one you get to write yourself, using all the wisdom and experience you've earned along the way. All that prep work is done, so the real question is, what story are you going to choose to tell now?